The double leg tackle is a flying tackle similar to a football tackle. It begins from a staggered or drop step position. In the first move, your front leg steps between your opponent's legs, or at least in that direction, in an attempt to split his legs with advancing foot. Your head should be on the same side of the opponent's body as your back foot and should lead your body in, while your shoulder makes the first contact with his body. Take a long step to a crouch position so that you are close to the mat with your front knee pointing between your opponent's legs. Your knee should be bent down toward the mat, and your chest should be over your knee. Head up and arm in close to the body. All your weight should be on the front foot. At this point, transfer the weight to your toes and dive into your opponent by leaping off the toes of your front foot, flattening your toes beneath you as you leave the mat. Try to hit your opponent with your shoulder, keeping your head up. At the point of contact, your front knee will hit the mat, and possibly your back knee will also. Your hands are grasping your opponent's legs with your wrists on the outside of his knees. His knee on your head side must be controlled by pulling it tight to your chest. You are now in position to start your breakdown. From an elbow control, Bobby releases the elbow and quickly hooks over the forearms, jerking them toward his chest, then steps in for the tackle. While his opponent has wrist control, Bobby posts his opponent's wrists up and steps in for the double leg tackle. Bobby attempts to reach for his opponent's head. Upon his opponent's reaction to his reach, he starts to penetrate by moving his hands down and starting his drop step. Pay particular attention to the final penetration and the driving motion that is used to get it. From a double elbow control, as your opponent attempts to free his elbows by pushing you away, you change the position of your thumbs to the inside, and then posting his elbows, change levels and step in for the tackle. This setup is used when your opponent is controlling your elbow. Pulling his opponent's head down, Bobby slips his hands off of the neck, changes levels, and moves into position for the tackle. A drop step is used for penetration. From an elbow and wrist control, Bobby releases the wrist and catches his opponent's opposite wrist, then turns his head and uses his shoulder to knock his opponent's hand off. His opponent counters with a head block. Bobby uses the captured arm as a post to clear the arms while he uses a step in for the tackle. This maneuver is used when your opponent changes from an outside control to an inside position. As he makes this change in position, Bobby opens the palm of his hand and slaps his opponent's elbow across his body, stepping in for the penetration as he does so. From a head and arm control, Bobby applies pressure down towards the mat. His opponent reacts by pulling his head up. When Bobby feels the upward pressure, he releases the head and steps in for a double leg tackle. Bobby's opponent attempts to control his head with a collar tie while on his knees. Bobby executes a post and a drop step and pushes with his head into his opponent's side while stepping up with his outside leg to complete the tackle. From a position of wrist control by both wrestlers, Bobby rotates his right wrist down, then releasing his opponent's left wrist, he takes an arm drag, turning his opponent's body and stepping between his legs. He then reaches across his opponent's body as he lifts his leg off the mat.